Good morning, everybody out there watching live or in the future for the replay. Today, we have the phenomenal Sabrina Feggans coming to us from Beyond Fitness with Sabrina, located in Charlottesville, Virginia. Sabrina is an epic human being who contributes so much to the community of Charlottesville. I have even had the opportunity to be at one of her events offering massage, and let me tell you what, it was the best organized, most well-attended event that I have been to in Charlottesville since I moved here. Sabrina, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited about the show. I'm so excited to be on. And I just want to, like you say, have coffee with you all and chat a little bit. So thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And we have Susan joining us today. We really appreciate it when the people jump on with us to get to be part of the experience. And Sabrina, you do personal training, and I love what your mission is about, to motivate, inspire, and empower people through like the holistically healthy group that you have there. And tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, so I'm just going to first preface it with, and I just want you all to think about this question. What have you done that you have never been motivated or empowered or inspired and you succeeded from it? So I'll just say, for me, absolutely nothing. There is absolutely nothing that I have been able to do that has not motivated, or I've been inspired, or I've been empowered to do. And so that is truly what the heart of Beyond Fitness is all about. And that's what I built my community on. Just a very personal story before I started Beyond Fitness with Sabrina, which really was grassrooted in itself, because all I was looking to do is to be happier and healthier. So the two H's, happier and healthier. And it really started one day, something very small as going on a field trip with my youngest daughter. And we went to Ivy Creek. And for those that are Charlottesville natives, you know Ivy Creek is a lot of hiking, trails, etc. And here I am out here with like a third grader and her class, well, several classes, and I was so out of breath. But most importantly, not the fact that I couldn't breathe, most importantly, I was miserable that I could not even enjoy this field trip with my baby. And so I suffer with asthma. We just have a history of asthma. So I suffer with asthma, and I was using my inhaler periodically throughout that morning, constantly taking breaks, etc. And then I heard one of the little kids say, "What's wrong with your mom, Jada?" And I was like, oh my, like I could have died inside. And it was the trip back on that yellow school bus with like 30 plus third graders. But all I could hear was that little kid saying, "What's wrong with your mom, Jada?" And really, truly, what was wrong with me is that I was unhealthy. I was overweight. I was almost 60 some pounds overweight. And I'm thinking, like, if my child is in her is in third grade, and there's going to be a lot of field trips to go on, how do I keep doing this? Like, there's no way. I want to go on field trips. Like, I'm that mom that I went on field trips with my other two. I was miserable. Nothing changed about that. But I wanted to go on field trips. And so I fought back a lot of tears going back to that school, because I knew I had neglected myself. I was so busy running around, taking care of everyone else, sports events, gymnastics, whatever it was for everyone else, rushing home from work, cooking dinner to make sure dinner was on the table and everybody could sit down and eat. And I was neglecting myself. And so then it was just that one day I told my husband, like, "Hey, let's get a membership. And I'm gonna start going to the gym." And so it really kind of started from there. But again, I'll go back to that question I just asked. What are some things that you have done that you weren't motivated, you were not empowered, and you were not inspired? And that is nothing. So even going to the gym, I still had to find those three things. And then I just surrounded myself with people that were very much like me, that struggle to lose weight, struggle to stay on a journey. And that is really where Beyond Fitness kind of morphed from. And then it just grew into itself because more people, as I started to tell my story, more people was experiencing this exact same thing.
Yeah, definitely. I really appreciate you vulnerably sharing about all that. It's and you lost 50 whole pounds, is that right?
Yeah, I lost, almost 60.
Wow.
Right now it's right back, about 50, but yeah, almost 60 pounds. And it definitely was a trial and error. Some things work for people, some things do not. And you have to know when those things are not working, but it does not mean that since those things are not working, that you quit and you go back to old habit. It means like, okay, let's think about this. What's working, what's not working? What are you enjoying about this journey and what's not? And how do we still get to that goal?
Yeah, I know, that's great. Mindset is so important, and having that grace when you do fall back and the forgiveness of yourself. And when sometimes we feel like we're impacted by other people that like push us into that like forgiveness for others as well as ourselves and that personal accountability.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it can be
I'm just
a lot. Mindset is so important. Like when I had my 2 back surgeries, my second one, I'd gotten up to 186 pounds and I'm only 5'4". And there was a lot of inflammation from the pain and like steroids that I had to take to manage the pain. And plus like just comfort eating, right? Like ice cream is my thing. So I could like literally eat like at least 2/3 of a pint of ice cream every single day for the rest of my life if it didn't make me into a balloon.
I'm like that with yellow. So my birthday's coming up. My birthday is next Wednesday. So everyone that knows me, I don't eat anything chocolate. I don't like chocolate, and I know it's unheard of. But yellow cake with white icing, like if it didn't faze me, like you said, I'll be eating that every single day. That's all I need.
Oh yeah, no, we've all got our thing, right? If it's a savory or sweet, whatever it is. My friend Elysia Williams says, "Happy birthday to you and happy early birthday."
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited. 29 young, times 3 times.
No, it's beautiful. I love like one of the things, like we have a bunch of different things we're going to talk about today. It's like creating your own destiny, empowerment, self-care.
1 second, I think it's my camera that's messing up, so I apologize. I don't want it to be blurry on your end.
Oh, you look beautiful as always.
I apologize for that. So I hope that didn't mess you up. Is it a little clear on your end?
Oh, no, you're fine. And you look great over here. Looks very,
okay.
very shiny.
I'm sorry.
Yes. You're fine. So I feel like talking about your journey and the transition and everything like that. Let's talk about creating your own destiny between taking a hold of our health and also creating your business.
Yeah. So the crazy thing is because we as humans tend to make excuses that feels good to us, right? And a lot of the excuses, especially when it comes around health related things, so like high blood pressure, or my family is known to always be, we call it big boned. I think that's some of the words that we use, or, obese, or, on the heavier side. So all these things that we allow to be excuses. Yeah. I can't lose weight because everybody in my family's, it's heavier, or everybody out. I got high blood pressure because my family has high blood. Some of this could definitely be hereditary, but some of this is also excuses that we make for ourselves. And so when we're talking about how we want to live, how we want to feel, it cannot be based upon those type of things. It can't be based on, family history or what has happened to you in the past.
Also,
if you want to, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to throw that out there. Like, yeah, a lot of people, like myself included, like pain and injuries can definitely be an easy excuse. You're like, oh, I can't do X because like, why? My low back hurts, or my knee hurts, or my shoulder's jacked up, like whatever.
Exactly. And so those things happen. So you telling me some of these things, like, you probably cannot do because of an injury. But I guarantee you, if you look to create your own destiny, you can find things that you still can do to work towards those goals, to work towards creating those destiny. And even, taking a step further outside of the health and wellness realm, we talk about, financially, oh, I don't have money because my family never had money, or I don't have money because I got bad credit. So all these things, we start to place all these excuses to not put in work.
For sure.
We even, whether it's exercise, whether it's, financial planning, whatever it is, we find excuses and then we become okay with it. And when I say we, I'm using the sense we because I'm not exempt from this. Yeah. I'm just learning the game. And we find excuses, and then we all of a sudden like, okay, I didn't go to that workout today because my knees hurt. Or I didn't go to that workout today because I'm tired.
Or depressed.
And then we become okay with it, right?
Right. Or our mental health.
Good about it.
Yeah, our mental health. People like, oh, I'm too depressed, or I'm too anxious, or, X or Y or Z. And we make all these different excuses. And it's just like, how do we create modifications or support system, right? Mm-hmm. To help us to be able to honor where we're at. Because sometimes we do need to rest and healing. And other times we're like, no, this really is just me putting up a limiting belief and not having faith in myself or my community and boundaries to do something.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. Sometimes you need to listen to your body and say, okay, today is like, it has been a rough day. Today is rest day. I will say this, it is rest day. It does not become, so if you're not careful, it becomes rest week. And then it becomes rest month. And it becomes 6 months later. And so we definitely have to listen to our body. In order, we can put in a lot of work and we can help our body get stronger, but we can put in a lot of work and we can destroy our body as well. So we definitely have to listen to our body. But we also, when we're talking about creating that destiny, is okay, I know what my goal is. I know what I want to look like. And if we're talking about health and fitness, I know what size I want to be. I know what size clothes I want to be in. That's my goal. And that's my destiny. That's just the one stop. It doesn't stop there because people think that these are final destinations and they are not. These are destination 1, destination 2. And so we have every opportunity, every resource, if we choose to, everything we have is within us.
100%.
So we cannot constantly keep making excuses for our past behaviors. We can't make excuses for our family history. We can't keep making these excuses because everything that we have is within us. Every place that we want to go in life is all dependent upon us.
Yeah.
And so that's how you create your own destiny. There are so many things that could have held me back from me being where I'm at. And let me tell you this, I'm nowhere close to my 3rd, 4th destiny. Like I have so many goals that I need to reach and a couple I need to do by the end of this year. So I looked at my vision board and I was like, check, check, check. But there's so many things on there that I still have not done, but it's up to me to create that destiny, because I'm gonna tell you one thing, life is going to happen. Life is not going to be pleasant at all times, but it's still, like I said earlier, we have those things inside of us to be able to move forward and create that path to our destination.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for all of that. I'd like wholeheartedly agree with you. I think that's one of the great things about being a coach too, right? Because it's about asking the right questions and supporting people to be able to facilitate what's already inside of them.
Right.
It's just like you have it. Like
I'm sorry. Like, girl.
Yeah, we're having some tech issues. It's okay. We'll get through it. But and then we have the conversation of empowerment.
Yes. So you were at my women's empowerment event.
I was. It was so epic.
Yes, I know. Like we're spinning around in our here now. What are we going to do next year? We want to definitely get a date on the calendar earlier that we did last year, because we turned that around in like 45 days. And it was nothing to do with me other than I had a vision. I had a wonderful, wonderful team that just helped me execute it. And the beauty of it is there is a community out there that felt like they were lacking women empowerment.
Yeah.
And so they were all over it. And so I'm big on women empowerment. I love the fellas, don't get me wrong. But you know,
we all have our niche.
Yes, right, yeah. So we come from a place that it's a little harder for us, right? As women, it's harder for us in every arena, every single thing, not just in the corporate world, not just in the fitness world, just every single arena. It tends to be just a little bit more challenging for us. And so we need that support and that empowerment from other women. And it was just a day that I was like, let's do it. And if we wanted, I was thinking just something very small, like let's get some ladies together, let's support, empower, and rally these ladies up. And then it just grew so big. And I was so thankful for the community, the support, the sponsorships, just everything about that day. That day was very important to me, not only from empowering women, but also we raised money for young women entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs is extremely important to me because, one, it was a scholarship in my very good friend TQ name, who passed away of colon cancer at the age of 40, who was an entrepreneur here in Charlottesville. But then also, I love small businesses, not just because I'm one myself, but because I think it is well-deserved and well-needed.
Yeah.
So these big corporations, they get money. It's us that like we, you know, the small business owner, we do it because it's a passion for us that we ultimately turn into a financial piece for us. So
Yeah, no, definitely. It was such a cool thing to experience, and I'm really excited to get to go next year between like the kickboxing that we got to see
yes.
and the drill team performance of the young ladies, and just like so many donations that people gave. It was really cool to get to see all of it.
It was so nice. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
and you didn't even know me. You were like, I'll be there.
Yeah,
I don't get up early.
I did. I got up wicked early for that event. It's a running joke with all my friends.
You did great. You did great. You did great.
I'm like, what? No, I don't do things before 10 o'clock in the morning. That's not
You
how we
were
roll.
what? 7 o'clock?
Evan,
Oh.
say what?
No, you were wide awake. You were wide awake. You were good.
I was. Thank God for coffee. Like, I feel like we should bring us to accountability and then self-care, maybe just in that order.
Yes. See, accountability was, you knew I needed to be there. I don't want to be there that early, but now somebody's holding me accountable. That's and right. I got to be there. So boom. So
and
yeah,
I wanted to be there too. You know, it's just like sometimes we want to exercise, but we need that personal accountability to like get really us over the hump to actually get there.
Absolutely. And yeah, when we talk about self-care, I think that is probably the most challenging place in our lives that we hold ourselves accountable to. And for me personally, and I told that story, but even still sometime now, I'm like, okay, I gotta do this, and this. So when am I gonna have time for myself? Because Sundays really should be my self-care day. That's kind of the day that I plan for myself. And then here my kids go, hey, can you do this? Here my husband go, hey, can you do this? And then I've lost the accountability to myself. So accountability is not only sometimes the ownership that you place on other people, it's the ownership that you place on yourself when you think about self-care and how easily that accountability can be gone because so many other people try to insert, things for you to do into your day. And so what I like to do is at the end of every day, I hold myself accountable. I am crucially honest with myself. When I lay in bed at night, I be like, okay, Did you get this done? And sometimes the answer is like, yep, check. Sometimes the answer is like, no. Okay, so why didn't you get these things done? And just really being honest with yourself, and then the next day holding yourself accountable for it. That is self care and accountability. You cannot expect anyone to value your time, your self-worthiness, any of those things, if you are not even holding yourself accountable to have those days or that time to yourself to rejuvenate and to re-energize yourself, because self-care is so important. And that is also the piece and the biggest challenge when it comes to accountability. We are so quick to hold everybody accountable but ourselves.
Yeah,
We
where's
are.
your sovereignty, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, you're not going to treat yourself as that sovereign being and step into like your space as a queen. But we're
Yeah.
just like, but hey, like you're supposed to do that for me. Like how do we model it? We need to model it for other people, what we do for ourselves.
Yes, yes,
right?
yeah. And that's so true. And that's why, and I even teach like my kids this, because I'm very, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to try my very best. It will be very, very rare and under rare circumstance that I will back out of like doing something, because first of all, your word is your word. Like I tell my kids, if you don't have your word and people can't trust your word, you've lost a lot in life. And that's just in life. But then also the piece is accountability. Like if I say I'm going to be there, or I say that I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, you have to be held accountable to it. And you have to be okay with someone calling you out when you're not accountable, right?
Yeah.
And so, because when you think about it, fitness, being healthy, exercising is no different than if you was at work and you didn't finish a project and your boss go, hey, what happened? That's accountability. Same thing here. And so as a coach, it's a very thin line sometimes, because people will say, hey, I need you to help me to lose weight. I need you to hold me accountable. I need you to help me with these things. And then they become frustrated when you start holding them accountable.
Yeah.
And so then I go back to, hey, remember, you needed accountability, because the lack of accountability is what creates failure. And so failure comes with the lack of accountability. So if you got accountability and you are accountable for all the things that you say you were going to do, it is very rare that you fail. You may come up short. So it's a difference between coming up short and failing. You may come up short, but you are not failing because you're holding yourself accountable daily for the things and the actions that you said you were doing. Going back to that coaching piece, you can't ask for accountability and then get upset when people hold you accountable. And so that's like the thin line that trainers and coaches ride, because yes, life happens. And you give people grace, and we also need to give ourselves grace.
Yeah.
But then it comes back to, okay, remember what we said we were going to do. And in order to get there, I have to hold you accountable, and you have to be accountable for your actions, good and bad. And so that comes with the accountability piece.
No, absolutely. I really appreciate you bringing that forward. And I think it's also important for people to have like more personal awareness as to what style of accountability that they respond best to, because those
Yes.
are like knowing what kind of coaches and trainers that you're going to work best with to reach your goals and not shut down, because not all trainers are like mindful and soft and like gentle and how they're being accountable. Some people are like really hard ass about it, and that works great for some people, while other people are just like, I'm really tentative and I need somebody that's like a little bit more like nurturing in having accountability.
Absolutely. You have to know your clients. You have, and not just clients, even with like my kids, I got 3 kids, and it's very different in how I approach situations with them. You know, one of them is very laid back. The other one is very high maintenance. The other one is very, very not in, I mean, she's intelligent, but she's very like well beyond her years. And so I know, dealing upon the situations, how you approach it with each one. And I know, my oldest one, I can be a little sterner with than the middle one, who may cry if I said the exact same thing that I said. So it's those type of things. But in all of those, I hold them accountable on things that they say and things that they do. So yes, absolutely.
That's a beautiful example. I really appreciate you bringing that forward.
Yeah.
And like for some people, they don't necessarily have a person. One thing that's been really interesting for myself with trying to have a better, having more personal accountability with my eating and awareness is that I try to journal and I write down what I have for like my breakfast and snack and lunch and dinner, but also self-care and exercise and what symptoms I have every day to have a greater awareness of like what I'm eating and what I'm doing and how my body has responded throughout the day to what thing. And so when I look in my journal and I'm like, wow, Nancy, that I have done like 0 exercise in a month, or I haven't done any self-care in the last week and a half. And because like the days go by super fast, especially as a business owner, so it's really easy to lose track. Be like, when was the last time that I did self-care?
Yes. And I think, that goes back to that, first it goes back to the planning piece. And so we have to plan, even if it's not like, I'm not per se a write down planner, but I keep it up here, but I know that Sundays is my day. Like Sundays, I try not to do a whole, like my friends, like Lester, I'm like, it's Sunday. I'm not going anywhere on Sunday. Because I'm like, that's my day. And so I need to keep holding myself accountable that I don't let other people derail me from me taking care of me. Because all week long, I'm constantly, and everyone, business owners, moms, parents, everyone, we're also taking care of so many other people. We deserve to have one day. And even if we can't get one day, can we get 1 hour? Can we get half of a day that we are doing something for ourselves? That does not mean that you got everybody around you and you're still trying to, no, that means that for 1 hour, I need y'all to leave me alone. This is my time. It may seem selfish in your head because but that's how we perceive things, like, right?
Yeah,
like,
not the mom.
Gosh, well, my daughter really needed me to go. Does she really need me to go? Like,
I really need to go.
Yes, right, yes. So the self-care piece is like, I need this because in order for me to be my best in the next coming week, I got to get this right now. Like, I got to re-energize. I have to do something for myself, or I'm not going to be beneficial to anyone in the upcoming week. So that's kind of how I think about it. That's how I think about the accountability piece of it, and holding myself accountable. Because you're right, even like when you talked about the journaling, if I don't get that time on Sunday, by Wednesday, I'm like, I am exhausted. Like, and then I'd be like, oh, you know what? I did not have my self-care. I didn't have my me time on Sunday. So I did not re-energize. So now basically I'm running on almost 2 weeks of not even be re-energizing. So how can we help other people if we don't want to be accountable and help ourselves, for that, even accountable and taking time to self-care, so we can be able to generate that energy to be able to push it out to other people throughout the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's essential.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think a lot of what we deal with, especially as women, I mean, like men too, and obviously I advocate for men's rights, but as women, that we have so many societal pressures, especially as business owners, as moms. Like, I'm not a mom, but I know lots of women who are. And it's just really struggling to find that space. And so like as a business owner, like we joke about me not starting before 10 o'clock, but the reason that I don't start before 10 o'clock in the morning is that's my self-care time. That's my time to journal my gratitudes, to journal about my food and the self-care and exercise, to journal about like stream of consciousness, to set up my goals, to like read books or whatever. Like, that's my time to center and put my headspace in the right space for the rest of the day. So, because that increases my bandwidth and allows me to work more effectively and with greater grace and kindness to myself and everybody else. But as business owners, oftentimes, like, they're just like, you got to start at 4:30 in the morning. You better be like running straight out the door, or else you're not going to succeed. And it's just like, people operate differently. And it's okay for us to honor the people that do want to get up at 4:30 in the morning, just like honoring me, who's like, I'm going to get up in the morning when my body says that it wants to, because it needs however much sleep, if it's 7 hours or 9. Some people operate off of 3 to 5. Like, I've met those people and they like work out great. That's just their circadian rhythm. But like, how do we honor ourselves and honor our friends and not shame or invalidate any person in their journey and how they successfully manage their business?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think you nailed it on the head. When you first talking about, you have to be self-aware. And with self-awareness comes self-honesty, right? And saying, you know what? I need 9 hours of sleep. I don't care if y'all up at 6 o'clock and you ran circles around me by the time I get up.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I need 9 hours of sleep, because I guarantee you this, even though I'm up at 5 a.m. in the morning, I have tapped out way earlier than you would have tapped out, because I know my body. Like, I know that if I'm up at 5 o'clock, I need to be in the bed by like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then it's not even going to sleep. It's that time that I need every single night to just release.
Yeah, exactly.
All that went on the day and think about what I was able to get done, what needs to be done tomorrow. And that's my time, just like Sundays are like my time. And I laugh about it, but I am so dead serious. There is not a lot of things that I like to attend on Sundays. I just don't. I want to be here. I want to get my house straight for the week. I'm a little OCD when it comes to certain things in the household. So I need my house a certain way before the beginning of the week. I like to meal prep my food. I like to get my workout. So that's my time. But when I don't have that time, I am completely off for the rest of the week. And I cannot be my best for other people because I have not taken care of myself on that Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. And it, like, mental health and finding flow. Like, there's a time, like, I've spent most of my life hustling. In this last year and a half, I've really dedicated to honoring flow, honoring the feminine, and allowing myself to empower the feminine within myself and be like, I can succeed in business and stay in feminine, in my feminine energy, and stay in flow and make this work. And I'd rather have a healthy, like, my mental health be preserved, especially in such a like crazy time in history. And maybe it'll take me a year longer to reach my goals, or maybe it won't. Like, I've been highly successful since I came here and allowing myself to be in flow, which was amazing for me. I was like, what? Like, mind blown. Yeah. I had the highest grossing month in my career of 20 years as a massage therapist in August. In feminine.
Because your massages are the bomb.
Thank you.
We got one coming up because my neck is so tight.
Yes. I am excited to see you soon. Yeah, but just like really putting it out there, reminding women and men for that matter, that since we have masculine and feminine energy within us all, that you can be highly successful while honoring flow, while honoring your boundaries, while giving yourself the self-care time. And just what's it worth to you? Like, what do you need to sustain your mental health and also be able to have the money come in, and with that abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset?
Absolutely.
This is Elysia. She's our biggest fan here. Thanks for joining us, Elysia.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Girl, I had to roll out of bed. And
she's on the West Coast. She got up early for this interview.
Oh, wow. Oh, you rolled out of bed. You don't know.
I messaged her. I was like, you showed up, girl?
Yes.
I was listening, but I was like, I can't even talk right now. I had to get my coffee. I was like,
Well, I don't want to feel oh, I'm sorry, Sabrina, for talking.
No, go ahead.
Sabrina, you made a good point. I'm only coming on to say thank you for saying that about the fact that we focus on everybody else except for ourselves, and at some point we have to turn around and look at ourselves and say, what have we done for ourselves? And so I absolutely just love what you said.
Thank you.
I have so many joint aches and stuff, but I still ask for someone. I'm in my studies right now, and my teacher asked, "What are you doing for self-care?" Like I'm doing my dissertation for my PhD, and I was like, I don't. Well, so I called on 2 friends. I have one that's doing accountability for me, working out at least twice a week, weight train. And then yesterday I incorporated, I incorporated this young man who's going to take me hiking. And yesterday we went hiking. That's why I had to roll out of bed because I could barely move.
I was gonna say, how's your hip? She just had hip surgery.
Girl, my left hip is ready to go. And it's funny. This is what was so good though. The new hip was the hip that carried me through the last 2 miles.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
we talk about, what issues are stopping us physically. There's a lot stopping me, but I'm so motivated in trying to
Yes.
get to the next, what did you say, the next
Destination.
life? Destination?
Yes.
So, absolutely love the talk. So I'm going to get off now so you can keep talking, woman. You're doing something.
No, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for joining us on the
Yeah.
West Coast. That is early.
Yeah.
But then you're spot on, because I think you nailed it right on the head. Not think, you did nail on the head, is that you said, I got my hip, all these things, but I'm still pressing forward.
Yeah.
I'm still doing something. I'm not allowing that to be an excuse.
Yeah.
And and I try to tell people, if there's knee limitations or things like, find something that you enjoy doing and do it.
Yeah.
It is nothing better than finding something that you like and doing it and moving your body, because ultimately moving our body is what's really going to keep us going. Because we know that if we let a bicycle sit outside for 2 years and don't do anything to it, it's going to rust away. We are no different. So I love the fact that you acknowledge that you have aches and pains and limitations, but you said you are moving towards your next destination. So love it.
One of the things, I'm going to stop right after this, but one of the things I ask my accountable partners is just be graceful with me. I'm going to be truthful when I can't do it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so yesterday I was like, we got to stop. I just have to sit for a second. And he was just so patient. I was like, wow, you're hired.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I told him he's going to be on my dissertation. Thank you for self-care.
That is, as he should, no, because that's so awesome. But one, you got accountability person that is going to be graceful with you, going to be patient. You have to have that. And then it goes back, like I said, to the other piece, is being aware. Like you said, what am I doing for self-care? We can't run when we ain't got nothing to run on, right? So we gotta always, and I try to tell people, think about driving a car, and eventually if you keep driving, you don't stop at the gas station, it eventually runs out. Then you can't go anywhere else until you get more gas. I think about my Sundays in the very same sense. By the time Sunday get here, I have ran out of gas. I need to stop at the gas station and I need to fill up to get ready to go for the next week. And some of those things are not negotiable. The kids, they trying to go, and it's kind of hard sometimes them, but like and it's not negotiable. And like, there's people that want me to teach on Friday, even if sometimes it's not happening. That is not negotiable. Like you have to respectfully set those boundaries to take care of yourself.
For sure.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
100%. Awesome. Susan, did you want to chirp in at a little bit right before we end up?
I'm sorry, me?
I was asking Susan.
Oh, Susan.
I'm sorry, I have a very needy dog today, so I've been listening.
Totally fine. We just had a couple minutes.
I can't even believe mine have not even came downstairs. Can you believe it?
It's trash day around here, and he does not like the trash truck. So anyway, I have been listening, and it's all just amazing stuff. I think we throw the word self-care around very loosely, especially nowadays, because we've been through so much in the past year and a half, but we really have to concentrate on what self-care means to you. Self-care for me is very different than somebody else. So I make it a point to write self-care on my schedule every day. When I'm going through my planner for the week or the month, it's written down because it's so important, and we need to not throw it around loosely because it's
Yeah,
amazing.
no. Suzanne, you hit it right on the head because self-care looks very different to everyone. And I'll just go back to an example of losing my very good friend back in April. And I never forget the day that she passed. I had a couple people come over and they, we were just over and it got to like 4th and I'm like, I gotta go to class. And they were like, you're gonna go teach class today? That's my self-care. Yeah. If you take teaching class away from me right now, I will crumble. So that's like exercise. And people like, oh, I exercise. Yeah, I exercise because that's the piece of my business, but also that is a part of my self-care. There is some days that I've already exercised in the morning and my day has been hell. And I'm like, I cannot wait to work out because that is my self-care. And everybody's self-care looks very different. Some people self-care journaling. Some people self-care going, taking a nice bath. Whatever your self-care looks like, please do it for yourself. Because you cannot keep giving the world you and you not giving you to you. You just can't do it. And so, like you said, we throw it around loosely, but I think we talk about that accountability piece. And we want to hold other people accountable, but ultimately we have to hold ourselves accountable. And that's holding ourselves accountable to taking care of ourselves as well.
100%. Sabrina, thank you so much for bringing up all of those points. And speaking of accountability and time, I want to honor your time, Sabrina. I know you got a hard stop at 11:15. So I'm going to ask you my last question, which is, who inspires you in the world today?
So I don't know if it would be so much of who as in one person, but it would be in the sense of survivors. And so when I say survivors, that's a survivors in everything, whether it's domestic violence, whether it is the loss of a loved one, whether it is a cancer survivor, whatever you have survived, that is what inspires me, because I know the things personally that I've overcome, which makes me a survivor. It may not be domestic violence, it may not be cancer, but we ultimately have something that we have survived from. And so that is my inspiration outside of my mom. And I know people use moms a lot, but I really wanted to drill more into the survivors for me. When I look at and when I hear some of the personal stories that people have overcame and survived, I'm like, it's amazing. It is amazing. Where I personally feel like I would have broke or would not have survived that, there is so many survivors of like so many people I know personally, but just in general, survivors is what inspires me to move forward, because the things that I hear when I think my life is bad and I hear about something that they have survived, whether it is chemo, whether it is the loss of a child, a loss of a spouse, whatever it is, I look at myself and be like, okay, it's not that bad. And that makes me put things into perspective. And that's really what inspires me to keep moving forward, because my life is not all that great, but some of these other people have had it 10 times worse than me. So that's what inspires me. That's my inspiration.
And thank you so much for sharing that. That's a very beautiful sentiment. I'm
Thank
like, it makes me mushy.
Oh, no.
So
thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're so very welcome. It was such an honor to have you on here. And it was so fun to get to talk to you, from like playfulness to depth and all the wisdom that you have to share. And Suzanne and Elysia, thank you so much for joining us here on the show today as well.
Thank you, lady.
And you're very welcome. So until next time, everybody, we will see you later.
Bye. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. Have a good one.
Bye.